Hello, and welcome to the PD Induction on the Saudi Learner. This very brief presentation is meant to acquaint you with the general student population characteristics of our program. Now, some of you may have taught in the Middle East before, and for others this may be a completely different experience. Regardless of your previous experience, teaching in a public higher education institute in Saudi Arabia offers its own distinct teaching and learning context, which are in large part informed by our student population. Before we discuss some of the distinct characteristics of our student population, it's important that you see them in many ways as typical 17 to 19-year-old fresh high school graduates that you would find anywhere else in the world. With this in mind, we might generally characterize this particular age group in the following way. They are at a stage in which they are transitioning into adulthood. Remember that the majority of our students just graduated high school, and the PY program is the first step of university life and the greater autonomy it affords. They can be highly sociable with each other and with you, of course, as their teacher, as most teenagers are at this stage. They are, of course, like nearly all from this generation, digital natives. Mobile, Wi-Fi-enabled devices are in the hands of virtually all of our students. The kind of near constant communication this technology affords is something that many of your students will seek, both in and out of class. Regarding our students' K through 12 educational background, they will most likely be either from the public government-run school system in which Arabic is the means of instruction, or from private international schools in which English is the mode of instruction. By far, the majority of our students are from this first category, and therefore we will focus mainly on these students. Now, within this school system, studying English as a formal subject starts relatively late, typically around the 6th grade. Furthermore, for many of our students, their most profound English language learning experience is within the context of relatively teacher-centered instruction, which here we may generally characterize as comprised of mostly grammar or rule-based explanations, quite often delivered in Arabic by the instructor. This, of course, means that active participation is often one-sided, weighed heavily toward the teacher. Indeed, it is often the case that the teacher is seen as the sole source of knowledge and therefore responsible for telling the students what they need to know, thereby fostering more passive participation from students. The ELSD, however, subscribes to language teaching practices that are quite distinct from what most of our students are used to. So why is this important for you? Well, it means that your teaching practices, which should strongly favor student-to-student interactions and active student participation within an English-only classroom, may be initially unfamiliar to your students, perhaps leading to rather reluctant participation from them, and sometimes even misunderstandings due to their perceptions of appropriate teaching methodology. So, it's a good idea to take the time to explain to students why certain practices such as pair and group work or having students correct each other's errors instead of you as the teacher are effective language learning practices and, of course, make for far more interesting lessons. In doing so, your students will be more accepting of such practices. We do want to make it clear that regardless of the teacher-centered instruction that our students may have experienced in the past, they have proven time and time again to thrive in language learning atmospheres where they are both encouraged and required to engage more of themselves. We know this not just from our own teaching experience, but from external research as well. Indeed, according to a 2011 study conducted with Saudi PY students, the overwhelming majority of students expressed positive attitudes towards student-centered language teaching practices, such as having students discuss their prior knowledge of a new topic with each other before reading a text about it, having them brainstorm ideas together before starting a writing task, being asked for their input and feedback regarding the lesson, etc. Therefore, incorporating such practices will not be difficult, but simply be aware that such techniques may take some getting used to and/or may require some explanation. Another distinguishing characteristic of our student population may be best understood through our awareness of the strong religious context of Saudi Arabia, and remembering how the religion of Islam influences all aspects of life in this country, including education. Now, what exactly does this mean for you? Well, it means you must become aware of certain areas and topics which should not be broached in the classroom, as discussion of these could cause offense to some or indeed all of your students. The following are the topics you should avoid. 1. Religion. Do not discuss matters of religion with your students. 2. Do not discuss or portray in your lesson materials relationships between men and women who are unmarried or unrelated. 3. Politics. Nothing related to politics should be discussed. For example, do not discuss your opinion or solicit your students' opinions on the political structure here in this country, as well as current political events taking place in and around the region. 4. Music. Please know that a number of our students abstain from listening to music on religious grounds. Therefore, do not play it or discuss music in your lesson as per KSU policy. 5. References to recreational drug use and alcohol should be avoided. Teaching in an environment with such a unique student population may seem at times challenging. However, rest assured that if you are ever in doubt regarding the appropriacy of certain topics, discussions, or activities to incorporate into your lesson plan, you have a number of resources at your disposal. You can seek assistance from the following. The Student Affairs Unit. Members of this unit work closely with students and are very familiar with Saudi cultural sensitivity matters. The Human Resources Unit. Our HR unit can provide further clarity regarding appropriate conduct both in and out of class. The Curriculum Unit. The members of this unit are very familiar with the various course books and develop cultural sensitivity guides, which is a detailed document categorizing certain texts and exercises in the textbooks, which you should avoid or treat with caution. And lastly, us, the Professional Development Unit. Do come by our office if you have any further questions regarding the cultural sensitivity policies set up to protect our students. That marks the end of the Saudi Learner Induction. Thank you for listening.